It's okay.
Oh, sorry,
I was
just started to roll the video, but I can stop it and we can talk, whatever.
No, you do that.
Okay. So hey, here we are in your lesson video. Let's just talk about both hands positioned. First and foremost, picking hand. There is, right now your tendency is really close to where we want to be. We still want our wrists straight, and we want our thumb extended down the string like this, such that if you had your thumb on the fourth string and you were on strings 1, 2, 3, and 4 with these three fingers, that you could move your thumb and first finger independently of each other. So just get that grip and just get used to using your ring finger a little bit. Deal with that middle finger nail ending up on the first string thing head on here, with just and the difference is only I'm here versus I'm here. So just try to hit your first string some, since that's the only thing we're doing that you've really never done before, is use your ring finger to pick. So just get used to wiggling that guy. And then if you want to just do some different combinations of fingers, just to kind of working together, go for it. That's kind of the point of doing this song. So pause and just kind of get integrated with that hand position without worrying about slide stuff. Slide stuff. First thing we asked you to do when you came into that was just put your slide on all 6 strings. And what we found is that you were playing more like this in a position where we needed to be more out in front of the instrument. And there's a lot of people who use unconventional slide technique that works just fine. We're just going for the most versatile one for making regular slide notes. But by the end, we had you out there doing that, and it all moves up and down, but no wrist involvement. We talked about stuff like picturing the movement generating from the base of the slide, so that you don't end up like that. The time that you're going to be most tempted to pin your thumb is going to be when you're down around the 3rd and 5th fret, but really you just want to picture a piece of string around these 3 fingers, or if you had to pick one, your middle finger, and whatever juxtaposition we're in, whether we're thumb over top or like this, that's where we want to be, and that's laterally. So we don't ever want to have our thumb trailed back there when we're doing something, and that happens subconsciously to a lot of people when you're playing down in this part of the fretboard and then move, it'll go like that. So just move around a little bit, and without even worrying about the strings, and out in front of the instrument, it's a nice and comfortable position. Next concept, left elbow not against your body. That's mainly going to help when you're down in this part of the fretboard to make it not feel like it's all the way over there, which is what makes it feel like it's this whole situation. And just a small change. Cool. So now, without worrying about which strings you're striking or anything, let's work on I have to play the 12th fret of my national. That has a no cutaway right there. As we discovered, it's really just, that your hand continues as it normally would and then just spreads out a little bit at the end. If you picture the note, we can't really get to the 13th fret comfortably, but you should be able to get to the 12th fret. So maybe just without even playing at home, just be like, I'm going to be here, and work with your hand. Your pinky's just resting wherever. So there you go, just mess with that. Returning to just basic concepts, didn't want you to have to think about this yet, but we're going to be meeting behind the slide. There will be occasion to open this up, but as far as just playing normal, we're kind of in the bad sound elimination business at first, and those are the product. So yeah, and one way that we found that was going fine for you, one suggestion I had was to move your middle finger out a little and your index finger under it, if that's helpful. So this whole thing is your slide, it moves laterally, it moves up and down, any other positions, bad stuff happens. Cool. So right about at 4:15 is where we're going to start talking about the song. I'm just going to write 4:15 right there. Awesome. So our right hand position is in the most common one, which is on strings 1, 2, and 3 like that. And our thumb is going to be on the 5th string. Though right now we're pretty much just going to be using these guys. So, you've just been wrestling with your hand going to the 12th fret right now, without worrying about making it sound like, let's just go get your hand ready at the 10th fret, including your medium behind the slide, get your right hand ready, and pick. It's cool if it sounds like 2 notes, we're not trying to go yeah, you're just getting used to going. I was at the 10th fret, and then I advanced to the 12th fret. Other thing, just sonically, be listening for in there, not just. And it really seemed like mostly it was your middle finger, once you started striking it. So, cool. That's what we're going to be doing left-hand-wise. The actual riff goes. So that's the type of slide where we just says doohickeys 12, and we want this to sound like not. So we go decisively, and we have to dampen the strings, and do it again. However, the good news is when you were doing this, you were subconsciously dampening the strings already. So that's the first riff in the song. We hit all three fingers, and we go in slow-mo. When you're doing your slides, slide decisively. If you want to pause in between slides, that's cool. But it's both sonically unsatisfying and kind of counterproductive to try to be careful. Just go like you don't care if you overshoot it, and you'll find you probably won't overshoot it. Same stuff as everyone. At any rate, there's our first one. And then there's going to be thumb notes, but let's put those in there after the fact. The real point is to work on the riffs. As advertised, second riff starts with that same. So like zero in on the next two notes, just like we did in the lesson. If you want to look on here, that's cool. But when you're doing this at home, you're just going to be looking at the page if you literally forget what we're doing. But yeah, here's us right now, zeroing in on that 10, dampen 12. So right hand wise, what we're about to do is strike your ring finger, A string or D string, and then dampen it, and then strike your middle finger without your finger coming back off of the D string. So let's just work on that for the first time, just open strings, and without falling into looping it, just try to go, I'm going to do this, put it back, and do this. You might find yourself doing this, just go back, just ring, put it back, middle. Talked about associating with kind of away from the instrument movement. Great, so just stop and kind of wrestle with that for a second. Then the slide part is I'm here, and then I slide. That's corresponding to the exact same thing we were just doing. Here's how it would sound if you missed the dampen. Instead of single notes, we hear, which sounds cool, but we mean just single note, single note. So there you go, just zoom in on that, don't worry about rhythm. And when you get good at that, keeping in mind that you're already doing this when you get to that point. Here we go, let's just do riff 2. Be sure your thumb's moving on your left hand, stop, work on that at home. The good news is riff 3 is the same exact thing. Third string at the end. When we talked about this in the lesson, we zoomed in on those last 3 notes. It goes the same thing we were just doing, and then first finger without dampening with our second finger. So it's ring finger, put it back. These two, the regular way, not So there we go. That's and you'll already be going at this point. So it just goes. Just over exaggerating. Cool. Next riff. Right hand wise, we're gonna go these two, put them back, and then these two, which is the same thing we just did in the previous riff. So work on that, including just get your hand back in good position. I know it's like really time consuming. Yeah. So these two, put them back. These two, don't worry about rhythm at all. And our slide part's just gonna be a slide. There's and that sounds like this is the one where I was like, if we used a pick for this, it would go no matter how well we did it. So we're going these two. Awesome. So on those last two, your ring finger's gonna be on the string. There we are. There's the main section to the humming part of Robert Johnson #1 version, Come On In My Kitchen. So you just work through, so stop, work on that riff. Here's the whole thing. 2, 3, 4. it's just going to keep time, because the point is to learn the licks. That's the hard part. You're not going to have any trouble going thumb, thumb. But in reality, we're going. So right after this, we're going to have a transition. So new section right at 10 minutes or so, but you can be following along with this with practice. So we're going to hop up from strings 1, 2, and 3 into strings 2, 3, and 4. Not as common a position in fretted playing, but still pretty common. And then our thumb's on the G string. The reason we're on these strings is that we need to be able to hit these, the 5th and 4th string independently of each other, which we might just do with our thumb if we're playing fretted. Cool. So this was our... So I would just work on that. And here's what you're going to be tempted to do. And here's what we're trying to do. All shoulder, elbow, no wrist. So that's pick, pick. And then the next thing that happens is you close that string off and go thumb. So, and there I wrote the world's kind of worst D ever, but that's what we got. We got boom, boom, and then we're getting that string, boom. And then it's just open strings like that. So. And then if you want, you can go like that or something. So in context, that was like. There we go. Whole thing one time. Boom. There you go. A lot of stuff to think about. We'll just think about it one bit at a time.